Hey Run Junkies, it is that time again. Rundisney's virtual guide for the 2020 Walt Disney World Marathon weekend just dropped recently, and as usual, there is a lot to cover. And actually more this year than in previous years. A lot of changes going on at Walt Disney World that have affected our races. Luckily, I've done several of these event guides, and many of them are the same from race weekend to race weekend. So I'm going to leave a couple of links in the description below for some of those more recent guides. What I'm really going to focus on today are the major changes, and there are several, to this year's event, the 2020 Walt Disney World Marathon weekend. A few disclaimers here. I don't work for Run Disney. This is not advertised by them. This is something that I do to help you get through your marathon weekend event regardless of what you're running. I want to help you get around and get through this event with as little stress as possible. While I do cover a lot in these video guides, your best bet is to go into the virtual guide itself. I will leave a link to that guide in the description below. Please check that out. Your best time spent will be to go through that guide. The third thing is that there are massive changes happening at Epcot, which are affecting our courses. So this video is exclusive to the race course maps. That's all I'm going to cover. But it is a lot to cover. In a few days, I will have more information in a separate video around what's in the virtual event guide. General information about transportation and expo and all of that other stuff will be in a separate video. So please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get to see that when it comes up. So the last disclaimer I have is that we saw massive changes at the 2019 Wine and Dine Half Marathon weekend, most specifically the race course finish line. Now, going into Walt Disney World Marathon weekend, we had a lot of speculation about what that was going to look like from Wine and Dine to Marathon weekend. And we were a bit concerned as to how that was going to look, but I can safely say after looking at the course maps, it's going to look a lot like the marathon weekends from recent years. Okay, here you go, guys. Let's get to the course maps. Buckle in. Get your coffee. Okay, welcome to the 2020 Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend homepage for the virtual event guide. I'm going to leave a link to this in the description below. Let's get right into the events here. You have all of your events listed on this page. 5K, 10K, half marathon, full marathon, the challenges, the kids races, Cheer Squad, and Runner's Square. I'm going to be spending more time on these two things in a different video, so please subscribe and hit that notification bell. First thing, I want to hit the start staging map for the 5K, and I also want to hit the start staging map for the 10K. So bear with me for a quick second before we get into this. Start staging area for the 5K. This is going to be very similar to past events. You're coming in through the security checkpoint and into the welcome plaza here. Then up to the reunion lot. There isn't a lot of detail on this map. I'm going to show you the finishers area map here in a minute. For the 5K, you have 3 corrals, A, B, and C. Switching over to the 10K, you have A through F. So it looks very similar between these two races. Your start arch is right over here. So before we move on, we're going to talk about the finish staging area map. After Wine and Dine Half Marathon weekend, we weren't sure where the finish line was going to be. It used to be over here for Wine and Dine, but it looks like they've moved it back to where everybody's used to it being, which is right over here. This is the finish line here. As you come out, you get your medals, your liquids, your food, your photos, and then this is the reunion area. Like I mentioned with the start staging area here, your security checkpoint, welcome plaza, and then this is the reunion area. You will pick up the bus after the race here. Your gear bag check is here. You drop your gear off in this area and then pick it up after the race. Runner's Square, I am going to talk about that in just a couple of minutes when we talk about the half and the full marathons. That is the finish area for all 4 races. All right, let's go back to the 5K and talk about the course map. Very similar to past 5Ks that run through Epcot. Not much has changed here on the surface, but let's go into this a little bit. You start and take a right-hand turn. You go around the Epcot parking lot until you take another right-hand turn under Test Track right here. That's mile 1. That's almost exactly the same as it has been in past years. The only difference from here is that you will enter between Norway and China. Used to be you would enter right here, but you come into World Showcase between Norway and China. Make your circuit around the World Showcase with a water stop here at American Adventure, then move down the rest of the way to International Gateway. You have a quick hairpin turn here. Don't know what that's about. It's a little weird, but it's probably the only place they could put extra mileage. Then you've got mile 2. Then you're passing the finished Skyliner, which is quite cool. Then you are listening to my dog. Then you enter in through the United Kingdom gate past Canada. Now, guys, take a look. This is very different this year. You are not entering, or you are not coming into Future World and exiting past Spaceship Earth. This area here used to have a building that looked like that. It's no longer there. There is a massive construction fence taking up like half of Future World. It just bifurcates Future World. The fountains are gone. One of these buildings is gone. There's a lot going on here. So instead of funneling you through all of these bottlenecks in here, they're taking you back the rest of the way around World Showcase. You may have a photo opportunity with Spaceship Earth here. So just keep that in mind as you're doing this. You exit through Mexico Pavilion and Norway, back under Test Track. Then you are skirting the outside of Epcot right here before you finally hit the finish line that we're all used to right here. Guys, that is really the gist of the 5K. Okay, let's move on to the 10K here. Course map. For the 5K and the 10K, race start is at 5:30 a.m. Buses will pick you up from your resort hotels starting at 3:30 a.m. They will load when runners start arriving, and they will leave when they're full. So it may be that they will leave earlier than 3:30 if those buses are full. They just want to get people to the start line. So course map for the 10K is very similar to what it has been in years past. For the first 2 miles, it's exactly the same. Out on the road, hairpin turn, up and over this overpass to mile 2 with a water stop. This is all in the dark, all open roads, some bottlenecks, but this is where things start to change. This is a new little jobby down in here. So you're making this hairpin turn and switching over back what is basically the 5K race course at this point. Then you're on mile 3. You take the right-hand turn to go back under Test Track like you did before for the 5K, excuse me. Back in through Norway and China and around World Showcase. Again, your water stop is at American Adventure. Mile 4, out to International Gateway, then a clockwise circuit around the boardwalk area. You have Boardwalk Inn, Swan and Dolphin here, Yacht Club, Beach Club. Back in past the, again, now finished Skyliner. Looks very cool. And then out through the United Kingdom. Then again, past, you finish your circuit around World Showcase. You do not exit. You do not exit through Future World. Back around through Mexico and Norway under Test Track. And as before, you hit the finish line. Okay, guys, we are back at the event page. We're going to hit the half marathon now. But first, we got to go to the start staging area map. Walt Disney World Half Marathon, Corrals and Runner Walkout. Couple of things that are different this year. One thing that we all know and love is this walkout for all runners to get to the corrals. This is 3/4 of a mile, maybe a mile. However, Runner's Square is a new thing this year. There's more to this added feature. You do have to pay extra for it, but one of the features that they talk about is that you get an exclusive walkout, so you don't have to do that big long walk. I think if I were to speculate, they're just going to take you straight over there. So that's just for a small group of people. You do pay extra for that. Then you have your corrals A through F on the north side of this 4-lane divided highway, and then G and H on the south side. As the runners push forward, as the race starts, going under the start arch, once F back here gets up to about here, G and H will transfer over to the north side of this road. Then you hit the start area. You can walk out as a spectator to this area here. It looks like it's about a half a mile. It will be dark, but you will get to see the fireworks and you will get to see all of the cool runners coming out. So if you are spectating, that is one option for you early in the race. That is the half marathon corrals and runner walkout. It is going to be different from the full. We'll get to that in a minute. For the 2020 half marathon, it looks very, very similar to the 2019 half. Not much has changed. So let's get you into the course. First off, you take that first mile. There's a water stop within the first half mile. So if you're thirsty, you've been standing there for a while in the corrals, you do have the opportunity for a water station. A little bit of bottlenecking here in this first mile and then through this first turn, but then things start to spread out a little bit into mile 2. Up to ticketing and transportation area, a lot of spectators in here. This is a fun place to run through. Mile 4, you're dipping under this bridge here and then into Magic Kingdom. Let's go into this pop-out map right here because this gets to be quite fun. You are coming in through the main gate of Magic Kingdom here, right under the train, and into Town Square, up Main Street, USA, out to Tomorrowland. Real indoor restrooms are here and here, and I think there are a couple more along the way, but these two are where a lot of folks hit right away. Okay, coming through Tomorrowland, past Tomorrowland Speedway, past Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and then out through the castle. A couple things about the castle. You will have PhotoPass photographers right here, and PhotoPass taking your picture in front of the castle. They have a well-oiled machine to get everybody in there, get their photo taken in front of the castle, and then moving on out through Liberty Square and then out to the exit of Frontierland. Then you are out mile 6 past Grand Floridian, and then you are making your way south to Epcot again. Food stop just before mile 8. In the past, it has been Jelly Belly Sport Beans. I haven't heard if they are changing that or if it's going to be the same. I will update you on the food stops throughout the marathon weekend once I find out more information about that. As of this recording, it wasn't available. Okay, you're coming down and you're doing this cloverleaf turn here. The Toy Story Soldier is usually right here to get you through that last 5K. Up and over this hairpin turn here, and then into Epcot for the remainder of the race. You come backstage behind the Land Pavilion and then back out past Imagination. Now this time you are not going out through Epcot. Real quick here, take a look. Okay, this building here no longer exists. These fountains here no longer exist. As I said earlier, there's a massive construction fence that will take up half of this area. They're not going to push you out through all of these bottlenecks in here. There's so much construction going on, so they're sending you back out to World Showcase Lagoon, and then you exit between Mexico and Norway, back under Test Track, and then to the finish line as with the other races. So that is the half marathon. Not a lot different from past races. All right, guys, here we are, and we are headed to the marathon. Massive changes this year, so let's hit the start staging area map first. As I mentioned before, you have this very long walkout, but hey, notice something. This blue line is your course map, is your course layout. So you have this blue line here, and then hey, it comes back through. So let me explain how this is going to work. So like I said, to go back, we've got this long walkout here, unless you have Runner's Square. All right, so Runner's Square will likely go out this way before the race. Now take a look. This course map is slightly different. The corral map is slightly different this time. Corrals A through G All right, this is quite a lot of real estate here. A through G is on the north side of this 4-lane divided highway. Corral H is way back here. Usually they have them up here. Corral H is way back here. There's a reason for that, because as the race starts, all of these runners are going to push forward. As soon as G pushes out to about here, H is going to funnel in behind them, clearing this part of the course. So at 5 a.m., that's the race start, okay? Buses are going to start running as early as 2:30. That 5 o'clock race start is different from past years. So what's going to happen is as all of these runners push forward, H will funnel in behind. So when those faster runners and those first starters come through here, that area will be clear. One thing to keep in mind, if you are in these later corrals, you may see some of those elites come through. So it might be kind of exciting. I don't want you to be disheartened by it. It's a thing. So just be prepared for that. All right, that is the staging area. That's how that's going to work. Let's go to the course map. Okay, you guys, this is crazy. Here we go. It's so hard because I don't even know where to start here. So we are going to push in on the start line. Trust me, it will make sense as we go through it. You start out on the first mile here as you did with the half marathon. It's going to look very similar. However, then after mile 1, you are taking a turn back into Epcot. All right, let's go to this pop-out map here. So we're coming in toward Epcot, going backstage as you did with the half marathon, behind the Land Pavilion out through Imagination Pavilion, and then back out, pushing back out toward World Showcase Lagoon. Again, they're not going to push you out through Spaceship Earth at all for this one. Then you are exiting through Mexico and Norway out under Test Track, but then you are making a right-hand turn to exit. So once you come back out under Test Track, you are going past the start line again and then making your way toward Magic Kingdom. So this clover leaf here, you are actually going down it rather than up it. So you are going around this clover leaf, then toward Magic Kingdom. Again, ticketing and transportation. I'm going to hit the pop-out map here for Magic Kingdom. A couple of things about this. First things first, this is mile 10. In the past, at this point in the race, this was mile 5. So that's how much distance they've added before you even get to Magic Kingdom. Mile 10, but you are going backstage. You're not coming back through the main gate of Magic Kingdom. You're going backstage into Town Square, up Main Street USA, again into Tomorrowland, but you're pushing further north into Fantasyland. You're going behind Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, then out through the castle. Again, you have your opportunity to get your picture in front of the castle here. Then out through Frontierland. So we've come out of Magic Kingdom and we are traveling south. Couple of things about the map, you guys. Okay, so mile 4 to mile 10, that's going to be your longest stretch of highway. Then the second longest is going to be between Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. That's about 4 miles. So let's push in a little bit and head south from Magic Kingdom. You're going past Grand Floridian here, past Magic Kingdom parking lot, and then down into Animal Kingdom. Lots going on in here, guys. Pay attention to what's happening on course. You are going to stay right as you travel into Animal Kingdom. One thing about Animal Kingdom, you're coming in through Harambe Market as usual. You are not hitting Pandora, but then again, you aren't going out to the Animal Kingdom parking lot, which I think is an advantage. Coming in through Expedition Everest at mile 17. Couple of things to think about. The race clock will start at 5 o'clock a.m. The balloon ladies will start sometime around 5:45. That has historically been the case. Animal Kingdom does not open until 9 a.m., which means that you have that much time to get to mile 17 if you want to ride Expedition Everest. So keep that in mind, track the balloon ladies, and pay attention to your time. You are exiting out Dinoland USA and up and backtracking back north to this junction point here. You'll take a right-hand turn to head south to Blizzard Beach Water Park. Guys, take a look. You are already at mile 20. Okay, you've done 3 parks in 20 miles. You have 3 more in the last 10K. Kind of exciting. Okay, I have never been into Blizzard Beach Water Park. I have no idea what you're running past. If you do, please leave comments in the box below. Maybe a quarter of a mile to a third of a mile inside Blizzard Beach Water Park. Then you are going back north. You only have about a mile and a half before you run right into Disney's Hollywood Studios, which looks exactly the same as the Wine and Dine half marathon. You are in past Tower of Terror, past Rock and Roller Coaster, and right back out. You're not spending a lot of time in there, but there may be a couple of character stops. Keep your eyes open. Then up the walkway toward Boardwalk. Guys, you are almost done. Check this out. So there's a water stop here after mile 24, a lot of bottlenecking. Please be careful and watch your step. Around the boardwalk, past the boardwalk inn, and then into the International Gateway. Let's hit this pop-out menu or pop-out map one more time. Mile 25 is where it always has been in the past. So you're making your final circuit through World Showcase, past all of these countries. You're about halfway around before you turn right past China and in between China and Norway. Then, guys, that's it. That's pretty much it. You are coming under test track and you are in the final stretch, making your way around Epcot toward the finish line. This is really exciting, you guys. I'm very excited for this marathon course. I think the second half of this is going to be a lot more fun than it has been in years past. You don't have Osceola Parkway and the ESPN Wide World of Sports, so do with that what you will, but it is going to get a lot of fun on the back half of this race. So those are the course maps. Okay, a few final thoughts here. I'm very glad that Run Disney was able to reclaim the marathon weekend, the typical marathon weekend finish line, different from Wine and Dine. It wasn't bad at Wine and Dine. It was just very different from what we're used to, and it had some organizational things that they needed to fix. They just went back to what we're all used to for the most part in the start and finish staging areas. Second, in light of the fact that there's a lot of construction in Epcot, there's still a lot of park time. They promised us a little bit more park time than in marathons past, and I can honestly say I think that's the case. If I were to add up mile for mile from the 2019 event, I think you are in park somewhere between 4 and 5 miles. And this year's event looks like you are in park for at least 5 miles, maybe almost 6 miles. With the inclusion of Epcot at the front end and Blizzard Beach, you are entering a park 6 times during the marathon, as opposed to past years where you are entering 4 parks, and that's it. The other positive thing about that is that means there are shorter distances in between the parks, and especially on the back end. So your longest stretches are in those early stages of the race, and then once you get to the back half of the race, you are going into park after park after park. You have 4 parks in the last half marathon. There are shorter distances on average in between parks. That long stretch after you exit Epcot that first time might be a bit tough once you get to Magic Kingdom, but after that, those parks are going to come really fast. The bottom line is that there are massive changes to all of marathon weekend this year, not just the marathon course itself. All of the courses have been affected by the construction at Epcot. I strongly encourage you again to go back into the virtual event guide, take a look, really dig into that event guide, get all the information you possibly can. If you have a question, it will likely be answered in the event guide first. Yes, massive changes to the course, but it's still going to have all that Run Disney magic that we know and love. My question for you today is this: what of any of these race courses are you most looking forward to for Walt Disney World Marathon weekend? Please leave thoughts, questions, comments, and suggestions in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that thumbs up if you like this video, and hit that notification bell. So there is so much more to come about preparing for Walt Disney World Marathon weekend. Before I go, a quick announcement. We are having another meetup on Friday, January 10th at 3 p.m. over on the boardwalk near Ample Hills Creamery. We've done that in the past and we have absolutely loved it. It's one of our favorite times for this particular weekend. So the usual suspects will be there. Myself, my podcast co-host Jen Sorensen, Gerald Resnick from Res Runs will be there. Kimberly Estabrook, the crew from Joyful Miles will be there, as well as some new friends. Guys, hope you can join us for that. We absolutely love having these meetups. Please stay tuned for more videos about the virtual guide, as well as spectator tips based on information that I gleaned from the Wine and Dine Cheer Squad experience that I had and spectating at the marathon in 2019. Guys, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, go find your awesome. We'll see you in January, and happy running.